Are you looking for tips to loosen up? Then keep watching. I'm using the Paryavaran sketchbook from Scholar, the Liquitex markers, a limited palette of heavy body acrylic paints, and a fan brush and a liner brush. That's all. This reference was shared on our Instagram page for the Still Life Paint Challenge by my co-host Nitya, and I really love the setup, the light falling, which is giving a very cool highlight. So I started off with a value sketch. I'm doing a 3 value sketch as the subject is pretty simple. I do a lot of value studies because I find them very helpful to understand the lights and the darks in a painting. Also, if I want to make any color change, just having a value study in front of me helps me, to understand which color could be modified at what value. The best way to do a value study is first start with the darkest darks, and then you can try out the highlights, and whatever is in between are the midtones. So if you're doing a 5 value study, put in the darkest darks, and then you put in the lightest highlights, and then you have 3 midtones in between. I give around 5 to 8 minutes to my value studies, but it becomes a great resource for me to refer to when I start painting with color. Now that the value study is done, I'm going to be starting with the colored part. It's always good to start with an underpainting. This just covers up all that white of the paper or the canvas, and it becomes easier for you to paint over it. So starting with a very loose sketch by mixing a violet, that is magenta, and ultramarine blue, I'm just loosely sketching out the outline. I'm painting the background in this painting with a very muted reddish brown. For that, I've mixed in a magenta with a little bit of the yellow and a touch of the burnt umber. The foreground is more lighter and more warmer, so there's a mix of white and yellow in it. For the shadows, I have mixed in a little bit of a blue and the magenta in it. Always try to soften up the edges so that the shadows don't look really crisp and hard. The value of the dark shadows is going to be helpful to determine the value of the lemon wedges, which is going to be a little bit lighter than the dark shadows. I'm using a fan brush for this painting as I wanted to keep it really loose. The broad edge of the fan brush is a great way to just keep it very loose and not add too many details, because it's difficult to add too many details with it. This is my color blocking stage where the color is just applied very flat and loose. I am not too stressed out about the details or the highlights in this stage. I just want to apply the color and just fill up all the areas. I always paint the areas which are in light more brighter, vibrant and warmer, whereas the areas which are in shadow more muted and darker. Now these are the lightest lights. So when I am adding the mid values on the lighter side, I will compare them with this area. So if it becomes nearly similar, what I will do is either I will lighten my lightest lights or I will darken the mid lights. This constant comparison of the value is going to help you get it true to its value sketch. So keep doing that at every stage. When you add in a color, keep checking it with the other color that you've already placed, whether the value is similar, whether the value is lighter or darker. Also, it's important to understand the edges, whether you need to give a hard edge, a soft edge or a lost edge. I prefer soft edges for shadows as well as to show the roundness of any subject. Now once the color blocking is done, I move on to this stage which I call addition of variety and corrections of any mistakes if I have made. So at this stage, I'll keep on checking if there is some variety needed to be added into it. Maybe I need to soften a certain edge, maybe I need to add in some more values in that particular area. And this stage is all about looking, analyzing, and then keep on correcting, keep on adding new stuff. As you will see, I've softened certain edges, I've added in more values in the shadow. Now in the end, I add in thick paint in certain areas. This creates a good contrast and it makes the painting more interesting. I'm happy how this turned out, and if you found this useful or you just enjoyed watching me paint, do give your feedback in the comment section below. That's all for now. Take care and bye-bye. See ya till next time.